Alright, got properly updated build stuff for the Chaos.Lich Lich for the 0.3 now. TLDR, TLDW, build is very much the same as last patch. Like, in power, it's very much similar. The passive tree is identical. I tried to look for things to change, just took the exact same tree. There's a little bit of changes to some nodes on the tree, but not much. And then the only real stuff that's getting particularly altered is support gem things. And there's probably some endgame min-max gear stuff, but that is one part that I have not gotten updated yet. So I'm still kind of waiting for more information on endgame gear options and how that all works. But like early mapping and all that's all pretty much the same. So this is the guide, the written guide. I have a section here at the top that kind of covers the updates. So like one big thing, for example, is Eldritch Empowerment no longer is affecting Dark Effigy as far as I could tell. Because this sacrifices ES when you cast a spell, it does not sacrifice ES when you place a totem. And you only deal more damage when sacrificing ES, so I'm quite certain that it does not work anymore. So we actually lose quite a bit of damage for Dark Effigy. I think this is still your best option for Notable, just because it still works on the Essence Drain and Contagion. The other option would be the Explode on Kill node, but that messes with your Contagion spreading, so it's probably not worth it. Jump stuff changes, passive tree is the same. And then we have this new Ravenous Swarm Spirit Gem, which basically just passively spawns little swarms of insects around you, and they go towards mobs nearby. And it's a potential option for a new source of poisoning, so that we no longer need poison on Dark Effigy, which is good, because that means we can replace poison with an actual damage support to claw back some of the damage lost there. And then the new permanent stat upgrades, there was like a handful in Act 4 and the internet stuff. A lot of the time it was like picking between attributes and res. They're fine, but attributes is a little bit better value since resists on gear roll higher than attributes rolls on gear. Yeah. So scrolling through this is kind of all the same as previous version of the build guide. Nothing has changed. If I go down past the gems, the passive tree is the same. The only thing that changed on the tree, they moved this node from like, I think it was right here. They moved it, but it's in a spot that you path to anyway, so it changes nothing. Otherwise, everything else is the same. There is one key thing. The getting to low life by putting on Visage of Aya, which gives you Eldritch Battery, no longer works on its own once you have this node spec'd Enhanced Barrier, because this node now also has 5% of life converted to ES. So if you are ever at a point where you like died or you need to reset your character to low life and you need to get rid of your ES to do it, you need to put the helmet on and also temporarily unspec this node, which is a little bit annoying, but again, realistically at endgame it only needs to be reset if you die. And you can still get so much ES that you really should kind of just about never be dying. But yeah, gem changes are covered in the gem section here, but I'm going to switch over to in-game to show those. So I don't have all the gems, but Essence Drain is mostly similar. We're just getting like upgraded level of Swift Affliction, I think was the only main thing here. There's not really much new fancy stuff there. Dark Effigy, on the other hand, Overabundance gets a rank up for a bit better duration. We lost Arcane Tempo, but the new Rapid Casting 3, I think, is the next best option. I don't know. It's not fantastic because it's only increased cast speed, but it's for each different spell you've cast in the last 8 seconds, which in our case is pretty much generally going to be ED, Contagion, and Despair, and then sometimes Visual Power, and sometimes Convalescence. So this should pretty consistently give 30% increased cast speed and sometimes up to 50. Controlled Destruction stays. Poison would be in here, but I'm going to show the Ravenous Swarm thing. Be able to turn on. I have Deliberation Gem in here as my poison replacement, but I'm not sure this gem actually works. It doesn't affect the tooltip. Lets you put it in, and it slows your character down when you place your totem, but it says It supports skills like weasel moving. But yeah, the tooltip not changing makes me think maybe this one doesn't work. I'm not sure. Otherwise, like Chaos Mastery would be good. It's a little bit less damage, but it would also give your totems a little bit more defense again, which is very welcome. And then a big one, which again I don't have. I don't have new stuff on standard. Execute rank 3 is instead of 40% more damage or 50% more against enemies on low life, it's only 30% more against enemies on low life, but it's another 30% more damage if you yourself are on low life. So that change is like a huge amount of damage. And if you also get enough extra spirit to run Ravenous Swarm, and you don't need Poison Gem, the boosted execute plus the boost or plus replacing poison with a real gem is going to make up for all the damage you've lost from Eldritch Empowerment, and probably more or less the damage you're losing from Arcane Tempo getting nerfed. So like DPS wise, we're pretty much back to where we were last league. Nothing has really changed. It might be slightly up with like new gear and stuff as well, but more or less just the same. Contagion didn't really get much. Contagion lost Hinder because they just deleted that support gem. For whatever reason, I don't know. You get like upgraded magnified effect. You can put a faster casting in here, a rapid casting in here, I guess, because you'll have a gem slot if you do it. It did gain a quality bonus that's more useful, and you may not need Unleash anymore because it kind of just does what Unleash was doing. But at the same time, we don't really have any other support gems to put with it, so I don't think that actually changed. Blasphemy benefits nicely. We get to add magnified area because we're allowed to use this on more gems. Temp change is also like the hugest single probably buff to the build is the curse rework, where the curses are way more effective on trash mobs. Basically, they super boosted the default like values on curses and then made them less effective against bosses. But so trash mobs barely can even move anymore from the temp chains, which I will show in a second. Withering Presence, we gained. You could also have a magnified effect in there for some more area. Convalescence, you can add another duration gem. Sigil of Power, you can add magnified and duration gem. Big chunk of the support gem stuff is just being able to use multiple copies of duration and multiple copies of magnified area. Yeah, so let me put a map in. Going with the boss so I can show a couple things off. Just unrolled map just to show it. But yeah, it's very much the same build as last patch. It was a good last patch, but now you can sprint. You can see the mobs get super slowed down. Like one thing with the build before was you would get hit running through packs and whatnot while you're waiting for your dots. It's like super easy to just not even get hit anymore. And you can sprint through a lot of things even. Overall, much comfier mapping, but the build otherwise is like the same. You can see these little insect clouds. That's the Ravenous Swarm. They're not really doing much of anything right now. They only exist to poison on the boss, which hopefully I can find relatively quickly. But yeah, you get the idea. It still does the easy contagion stuff. The mapping is just better. Overall, it's just better. Is it as fast as playing a Deadeye build? No, but hopefully if you clicked this, you weren't looking for something to compete with Deadeye on speed, because you're not going to find it. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything to the boss right away. These things spawn in, and the boss gets poisoned very quickly, right? Like the swarm spawned in. This is a T15 map boss with all the boss difficulty nodes. I don't know how long it would take them to poison the pinnacle boss, but I don't think it should be too long. But yeah, so they get that poison in really quickly, right? And then so the boss stuff otherwise is like the same as always. Sigil, put up the dots, drop the totems, and then just watch the boss die while you kind of run laps around it. That's pretty much it. The build's more or less the same. Some nice quality of life changes. We got to do a little bit more jumping through some hoops to get our damage back. But honestly, not too much. Once you get Execute Gem rank 3 by itself on your effigy, you're kind of pretty close to back where we were before. I think overall the build is just better due to the temp chains thing, like just making mapping a breeze. And yeah, there's probably some upgrades to be done with like min-maxed abyss crafting or maybe some uniques. Remains to be seen for me. But that's the build, that's the update. Hope it's helpful, hope you enjoyed it. I will have a link to the guide in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you.